Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk a little Packers preseason. As the season gets kicked off tomorrow night, you see here on the eve of the big game. That means absolutely nothing, but I'm so jacked for some football, boys. I don't know about y'all. So tonight we're going to dive in to the top 5 Packers who need to perform in preseason, or maybe the top 5 Packers that you're most excited about watching in the preseason. A little Jets-Packers preview for you guys and gals. We'll hit a little Caleb Williams off the bat, too. He's stinking up the joint. Jacob sent me a couple of clips of that. And then we will also, that'll pretty much cover it. If we have time, I don't know, we might get into a little Isaiah McDuffie chalk talk. We'll see how it goes. But before we do, need y'all to do that YouTube stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're new here. Hey, welcome into PTA. Thanks for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're just fans like you in here talking Packers on a daily basis. We do pregame shows, postgame shows, in-depth analysis, film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. Tomorrow, we will be going live 1 hour before kickoff to give you guys a pregame show, kind of walk you through Twitter, show you all the live shots from the stadium, get you amped up, ready to go for the big game. And then immediately following the game, we will come in with the post-game show and just talk about who maybe might have performed in that match. So again, like I said, if you're looking for that kind of content, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go.
Get ready to go.
Live. There you go. Jacob sent this over earlier, all right, and we'll be brief with it, but I'm excited to show you guys. Caleb Williams is in mid-season form here, and my favorite part of this video, Jacob, we got both of them too, by the way, is the fans' reaction. It's just hilarious to me. So, and you got this off of Facebook, Jacob. If you would pull it up on your phone, and so we can give credit to who this came from on Facebook, but we'll shout it out here in a second. But here we go, guys. This is Caleb Williams in mid-season form.
Oh, come on, man.
Dude, I didn't hear that the first time.
You got to do better than that. We need that drop, don't we? Come on, man.
Come on.
No, listen, I think the second one, it's even better.
Yeah, let's go to the second one real quick. Well, first of all, let's break this down, man. That's what we do here, right? We break down the tape. Sure. So notice, Caleb, how long he holds the football. This happened all year last year. And I know it's camp. I know it's a practice. I got you. But this is what – when people look at the touchdown to interception ratio, they think, oh, no, look how well he's playing, right? It's easy to look at the box score and think, oh, he's playing good. This happened all year long, and the offensive line continued to get blamed for it. So now they revamped the offensive line, and I'm telling you, it's going to end up happening again. So let's play the audio one more time, Jake, and I want to get your take on it, man.
You got to do better than that, Caleb. Oh, come on, man.
It looks like it's censored, too. Like, it keeps cutting out right when the interception happens right there. But anyway, Jacob, where did you find this at, man? Can we give some credit where credit's due here?
Absolutely. So that belongs to a gentleman that goes by Antoine Ivy. I did see him on Facebook. He's got some cool other reels. I just happened to see those. Looks like he must have went to whatever that practice was recently here and decided to put them up. And definitely were not highlights. They look like some lowlights there. But what's weird to me is, like you said, there seems to be no progression or like growth from him in the offseason. The just walking into pass rush, really dancing around, patting the ball. The thing that's most telling to me is he seems so unsure about throwing anything outside. He's looking straight down the middle. He's looking for the dump off. It doesn't look like he's trusting that arm right now. What do you see, Emilio?
Yeah, it's no one's getting open, right, Jacob? I mean, we're asking these wide receivers to do, a crazy job here. But look at it, 1, 2, 3 step hitch, and it's just brutal. I wish my O-line blocked like that in college football, Clay. Come on now, they were holding up. They were holding them up there.
I'm telling you, let's get the audio on this one. This is good audio for you guys and gals too. Y'all ready?
Sack.
You got a lot of time. Sack. Caleb ain't looking good out here today.
Caleb ain't looking good out here today. Yeah, so it's just I don't know, man. You've got to have that internal clock. You've got to be willing to get the ball out on. And listen, Jordan Love struggled with it at times last year. We talked about it. That's one of the big things that stood out about Jordan's game last year is he realized like mid-play he doesn't have his legs with the injuries he was facing, right? And he would get to the check down too late. Now, there was times he played great, right? It's an important aspect of the NFL. If you don't play on time, if you don't play – when they say playing in rhythm, people think it's just hitting your receiver in stride. That's in rhythm. No, it's getting to your side adjustments in a timely manner throughout the course of the progression of the specific play. Read one. Well, first of all, it's pre-snap read, knowing where you're going to look to work or whether you're working half of the field or if you're going through a true progression of a 1 to the 2 to the 3, and then getting there in a timely manner. Sometimes you can go 1, I need to get to the 3. Because you recognize what the defense is doing, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. So it's just something that Caleb didn't do well last year. And then again, you see the sack total, you see the interception numbers down, you go, man, he's got a bad offensive line. No, he is holding the ball too long. At one point, he was leading the league in sacks of that where he held the ball for over 4 seconds. Guys, that's not a good rep. That's not a positive play there. So anything else on this, Jake, if you want to hit on me? I appreciate you setting them over, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games, and obviously we're enjoying this right now which is crazy because the Bears, this is, they're so good in the offseason, and they've definitely been so improved. But watch the end of this play. After he clearly pats the ball too much, he's afraid to throw the ball, he's not moving well, he takes the sack, but then watch how he ends it. He chucks the ball like a little girl, like just a little, like an 8-year-old boy that's having a hissy fit, and like almost like at his fellow player. Like he walks off, no confidence, no rolling up the team, no, say, hey guys, come on, let's go get it. He just spikes the ball, runs off the field with his head down. That to me is not a leader. We can listen to Ben Johnson say how he's gonna, had talks with him about his basically his body language. We went through this with Aaron Rodgers. I was very critical of the way that Aaron Rodgers would allow his body, just the way that he would, the rolling his eyes, the breathing hard, the sidelines just looking just absolutely terrible. Like Coach says, terrible body language. It just, to me, is not signs of a maturity or growth from that quarterback position. And I think I saw Too Old for This somewhere in here, and I completely agree that if they don't start Tyson Bagent at some point, because he's clearly the better quarterback. If you look at like their like AI breakdowns or any sort of summary of their practices, it is clear to anybody that didn't have some sort of real bias for him being the number 1 pick and being touted as this once in a lifetime generational quarterback. If you just look at the hard X's and O's and the stats, Tyson Bagent's absolutely outperforming him in the offseason right now.
Yeah.
And Emilio, they're not going to play Tyson Bagent either, are they, man? It's not going to happen.
You want Chicago to turn up? I mean, that'll do it right there. That's
the position they put themselves in, right? Taking the number 1 pick, and once you put them on the field, right, now you can't go. When you go back, now it's the whole team starts questioning: is he the guy, right? So,
and the first comment I was just going to say, Jacob, first comment I saw on there was, and to think we could have had Jaden Daniels. That they're just in shambles. The poor guy's just beating himself up. But looking at this, they're rushing 4. We're keeping 6 in. The back stays in. One dude's not even trying to rush. I mean, basically, it's like a 2-man rush maybe, and you're not in full pads. Like they probably don't want Caleb to look bad, but they're also like, if I'm not going to get to the quarterback, we're going to have to do sprints. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, and the thing about that too, if you're leaving 6 in on protection, it's one of 2 things. You're either taking a shot play, or you need to get the ball out of your hand. Right. It's one of those things that, okay, we're gonna hold the protection. It might have been pre-snap because they're showing blitz. Okay, you got to know where your hot is. You got to know where the answer to the question lies. Mm-hmm. And you see here, they're in the red zone, so it's not like it's a deep shot play. On a extra protection.
Cover 3 flat, Tampa 2, something like that, because 2 of the linebackers kind of just sit there, and then they're also carrying, so they're matching, but. You saw him scan from the left side of the field to the right, coming back left, and then he's like, well, now what do I do? And you're already 5 seconds into the play at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at what Coach said just as you were saying that. He doesn't trust his eyes. That's what I noticed most about him, is that he just it's almost like his body doesn't trust that he can fit that ball in, and he's being overly cautious. Now everybody will highlight, well, he had such little interceptions.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he's afraid to throw the ball.
He
That's
needs
just
that
what it
VR
is.
machine. He needs that VR machine that Jaden Daniels had that got him all those extra reps. He did like thousands of extra reps just taking him on VR. That's what he needs.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so there you go. There's your Chicago Bears update. I'm sure I'll get some hate in the comments on the video we'll post later, but that's okay though. So moving on to tomorrow night. Really excited about the Packers' first preseason game. This tweet came out. I want to give a shout out to our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers. He sent this over to me in a DM. This came from Max Velocity. And I looked, he's got like, I don't know what it is. It's like, 114,000 followers. So I guess let's see what he does here. What's it say? It says Max Velocity is a meteorologist who provides accurate, honest, and reliable weather forecasts and live streams across the USA. All right. Concerning flooding threat is about to unfold across the Midwest on Saturday and Sunday. Widespread 3 to 6 inches of rain is likely, with localized areas between 6 to 12 inches of rain possible. Turn around, don't drown. You know what I'm saying? And you see Green Bay's kind of in the mid-range. They're probably expecting about 3 inches of rain. So we might get us a little sloppy mess tomorrow. And my question to you guys is, do you put the starters out there if it's piss pouring the rain? What do y'all think?
If it's pee pouring, I'd probably hesitate slightly just because we saw what happened with bad field conditions in Philly, and that absolutely ruined the whole rest of the season. I don't know. I still want them to have a little bit of competition, so I'd say probably a good series or two I'd be comfortable with, but I'd probably focus a lot on just handing that ball off and maybe do a couple, small cross or something like that. Just get them on the field, test the arm a little bit, get them off. I don't want to see any of that slopping around.
It's funny too, because we always go back and forth. It's like, yeah, man, the starters need time, right?
Yeah.
They need to get out there and get ready, as if it's not going to rain on the regular season. I'm with you, Jacob. I'm looking up and going, all right, boys, if it's really coming down, the field conditions are a little slick. You don't want somebody tearing a quad or pulling a hammy or something out there sliding on the turf. You know what I mean, Emilio?
Yeah. If we get the 6 inches, I'd say we probably can, move past those the starters we were planning on doing. If it's raining, but it's not too bad, the field's still decent, I would still like to get them out there just so we can spin the ball when it's wet out. Just one drive. That's all I want. That's all I asked for beginning of this week before the storm. Give me one drive for the starters and then get them out of there. I like Coach Lynn though. Pre-game warm-ups. If it's raining there, you can still get your reps. But it's also, we just want one thud of the pads. One little crack. Just kind of get the hits back. All right, now I'm out of here. Let's get Malik reps. Let's get the backup running backs, all that.
Yeah, one drive and done, Jordan Dixon Reed says. And even if they don't get one drive, Jordan, going out there and dressing, right? Going through that process, getting in the routine of, all right, this is what a game day is going to feel like. The rookies need to feel that, but also the vets need to get back into the swing of things in that regard as well.
I'd hate that even more, right, Clay? If the vets didn't have to dress and then you have everybody else dressing, not that it's terrible. I get it for like the Hall of Fame game or something. I see like Lamar didn't dress, but the process, getting up, you got your noon game, you got a late game. You need to figure out your timing and all of that. I think it's still good for the veterans to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. You got anything else, Jacob, on that?
No, but I got to find this Max Velocity guy, figure out a way to follow him because it's hard to find an honest and accurate meteorologist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little BS there. We'll see, though. I don't know, man. It's
They
I tell you what,
rain every day down here.
bro. Yeah, I just every morning I don't even check anymore. I'm just like, it's gonna rain. That's what's gonna happen.
It's gonna rain.
Exactly. Looking at it here, it says Saturday night, and you guys know this is overnight. Mostly cloudy with showers and a few thunderstorms. Storms may contain strong gusty winds as well, 15 mile an hour, low 68. The chance of rain 60%. Now that's overnight. So throughout the day, you're looking at 10 to 20 mile an hour winds with a 50% chance of rain. So
good kicking practice.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah,
you're right. So there you go. All right, there's your weather update here, courtesy.
Or it'll be our win that, like Justin Fields when he did the slide through the water when they beat San Fran. That could be our
Everybody was so sold on Justin Fields. He was the guy.
Or was it just the fact that their stadium just has terribly poor drainage and they couldn't get all the water out of there, and Lambeau's just pristine and they got all that figured out already?
Could have been that as well. Well, Jacob, you had a great topic that you wanted to hit on tonight. You said top 5 Packers who need to perform in preseason. And again, like I said at the top of the hour, whether they need to perform or maybe it could be top 5 players that you're looking forward to seeing, I like Jacob's approach. So Jacob, if you want to kind of start this conversation and we'll talk about some of the players that probably need to. I've got access to the depth chart, right? Both offense and defense. And we've also got PFF grades from last year. If you need me to pull either of those up, just let me know.
Yeah. So when I started it, I thought it'd be really easy. I ended up going with, I thought I'd have 5 individual players that I was worried about. And then it kind of shifted towards, I've got 9 at least situations / player groups where I want to see how they're going to play out. So I don't have to list all 9, but I just wondered kind of what you guys would think. I could rapid fire them off and then see if you want to go
Let's
in.
Let's go one at a time.
All right. The first one to me is the running back room in general with the mix of Wilson, Brooks, and Lloyd. Just how that's going to, these freaking streamers, man, how that's going to pan out. Obviously, with the injury to Lloyd, we kind of figured that one's going to be put on ice. Wilson has a slight injury, but probably is going to be able to come and do some playing time. And then Chris Brooks, just whether or not he's going to solidify being that third and final running back or if he's going to fall into the practice squad kind of thing. To me, I don't really quite know how it's going to shake out. And I am starting to get a little nervous, mainly for Marshawn Lloyd, because I just feel like the guy can't catch a break. And the more and more we see of Wilson and Brooks, the more I just feel like that Coach LaFleur is going to say, look, I know what I got in these guys, and it's quite good. We've highlighted, as you're showing here, Emmanuel Wilson may be one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated backup for sure in the league, I think. What are your thoughts on the running back room?
Yeah, it's interesting because is Marshawn Lloyd actually healthy? Is he going to be willing? He's not going to be able to play, right? Am I thinking right?
I think he's playing this game.
Yeah. So, listen, he's not battling for a roster spot, too. So, really, what it's going to come down to is Chris Brooks, Izzy, Amar Johnson. Those are the 3 that I'd be really trying to go. Okay, are there one of these 3 that's worth carrying as a 4th running back? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And it's going to come down to a little bit of that, that pass blocking too. How quickly can Izzy pick up the pass blocking and know exactly where to be? And it's not like LaFleur is going to go out there and roll his whole offense out there either. He probably want to put these guys in a couple of situations where look at it this way: get Sean Clifford and Taylor Elgersmer out there with significant reps to decide who's going to be your practice squad quarterback, and in the process, rotate these running backs in to see how well they can pass pro. Does that make sense, Emilio?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we have to, because you're going to have different combinations with, quarterbacks and running backs on the field, but you want to see if each of them can do that. I know Josh Jacobs was kind of talking about how Chris Brooks can do it all. He's kind of that utility knife back there. So I think it really is going to be the big 3 is going to be Israel, Lamar, and Jalen. I think they're going to get a lot of carries. I think it's going to be, a lot of back and forth with them just to see what we have, because you got to build out that practice squad. What's a 16-man practice squad? So you have a big roster. You got to make sure you're building out and having backups ready to go. And
we know running backs get banged up really, really quick throughout the NFL. Coach Lynn says, can Izzy beat out Brooks? Probably not. What do you think, Jacob, of those 3 running backs, Chris Brooks, Izzy, or Amar Johnson? Who would you say, yeah, I'd put my money on that guy to be the 4th back?
I mean, I think that Amar and Izzy would have to do something very spectacular. I mean, I'm talking very spectacular in multiple games to surpass Chris Brooks. And that's where I kind of was, again, more just the running back battle as to the hierarchy of the 1, 2, 3. And we can throw in Lloyd if that gets to that point. But that to me was most it's got to be Chris Brooks, right? I mean, the way Matt LaFleur praises him in the press conferences and says that it's not just him as a running back. He's really great at pass protection. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He seems like he put him in really key situations and very key games. So to me, Izzy and Amar would have to absolutely just have some crazy performance to, I think, shake up that depth chart.
No block, no rock.
I think
it's the last 2 columns right there. 67 pass blocking, 63 run blocking. They ask him to do everything. He's the one that'll lead for Josh Jacobs. He's the one that's going to pick up that stunt, D tackle, whatever. He's willing, right? He's willing and able to. That's key.
Yeah. And if you want to get Josh Jacobs a spell out of there, right? Get him a breather. You can put Chris Brooks in as a sidecar left, and then motion Jaden Reed or Savion, whoever it is, into the backfield. Let Chris Brooks lead as that H-back, and you're off and running.
And still the threat of potentially him running it, hand it off, read option to him, and then maybe we pitch to Jaden Reed, whatever. Matt could get crazy.
As Coach Lynn says here, Brooks can sit block it also. Hey, if you want to run split zone, split flow.
Block.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, when we signed him, Matt LaFleur was like, this guy can do it all. He can run the rock. We've seen that with his yards per carry, right? Coming onto the Packers roster. And then he said he can pass pro and he can catch ball a backfield. And I'm going, this is a practice squad guy, Matt. Come on, you're not fooling anybody. Lo and behold, he had significant snaps last year, man. So, all right. Who's up next, Jake? It looks like he had 199 snaps last year. So yeah, almost.
It was more than I thought. Yeah.
Definitely.
I actually saw that Coach highlighted this. My other battle that I'm going to be watching very intently is the Fitzpatrick versus Sims, that battle. And the whole scenario, is there even going to be a third when we try to hit that 53-man roster? I would argue that I really fell in love with Ben Sims. Really like the way that I think that he doesn't get enough credit for being more of like an agile kind of decent RAS, if I'm not mistaken. Same with Mr. Fitzpatrick. Bigger guys than I think they get credit for. And both of them, I'd argue down the stretch, were pretty, not necessarily productive, but trustworthy. We know what we had in Tucker Kraft. I mean, the guy is just an absolute stud. I don't know if we know exactly what we have in Musgrave, but I have still a lot of hopes for him and his ceiling raising quite a bit. And it would just be interesting to know who that solidified third stringer is and what his role is on this team. And I really want to see how Fitzpatrick and Sims ballot it out. What do you think, Emilio?
Man, tight end's going to be tough because I think Ben Sims has been stepping his game up, but they just love John Fitzpatrick. I want to see. I'd like to see Luke out there to throw a couple reps, get his legs loose. I think they're going to try to ease off Tucker, and we just need to see what else is there. Messiah, is he going to be just a big blocker? That's cool, but we need to know what he is, and I think that we'll be able to get that, but I want to see, 12 personnel, 21. I want to see Matt kind of working through it, not going too crazy, even if we're just running ISOs or, a off tackle, whatever we're doing. But I want to see everybody out there. Let's see what they can kind of do. And I think I would go with Ben Sims currently.
Yeah, and I think from a personal standpoint, I like Ben Sims more than Fitzpatrick, but like what Jacob was saying, I want to say it was a playoff game. They deactivated Sims and they activated Fitzpatrick. And I was like, whoa, I missed something here. So maybe it was just the matchup for that game. And the thing that pops off the screen here is his 60.7 run block, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember showing a play, I believe it was against the 49ers, it might have been, where it was a goal line situation and they put him in the wing and he smacked a linebacker right in the damn mouth. It was like, oh, okay, that's what Fitzpatrick does. So maybe he is that guy, can play a little wing if you want to go into like a 13 set or something and really go heavy. You never know. We may press into that a little bit as well. So, and the other thing too, Jacob, Emilio kind of hit on it. I want to get your take on this and we'll move on to your next one. Musgrave, if you were the head coach, how much would you play him tomorrow?
Oh, if with the weather, the way we think it may be, minimal snaps. I'm very minimal. I'd maybe do like 5 snaps for him just to get him out there, get him into kind of not football necessarily speed, but just shake off some of the dust. I wouldn't want to force it though with him.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's going to be the Fitzpatrick, Sims, Lumpkin, Swinton, show tomorrow, I believe. So we'll see though. I want to see Musgrave kind of create a little momentum going into the season, but at the same time, if he were to go out there in the rain and him, pull a muscle or something and be questionable for week one, that would really frustrate the heck out of me. So, all right, next position, Jacob, what we got, man?
Yeah, so like I said, I've got a few of them, and I'm trying to think of what's the most. All right, the edge/D end room, and I think the two that are really on the bubble would be Kingsley Enagbare and Deslin Alexander. I feel like if he plays really, really well, and if Kingsley, for whatever reason, just doesn't seem like he's showing out, that I just feel like there could be some sort of maybe kind of a surprise. I don't know about Aaron Mosby. I don't know if he'd overtake him, but I just think that between Mosby, Enagbare, and Deslin Alexander, I just think one of those, I just think there might be a surprise in the room. And I always think that like every year we think we got it nailed. And then there's probably 2 or 3 surprises where we're just like, oh, okay. Like they completely did what consensus was. I've been seeing a lot of people talk that Deslin Alexander's been flashing at camp. I even know that I think Tim's wife brought it up to him and said, like, who's that? And he's like, oh, it's Deslin Alexander kind of thing. And I have seen some other beat reporters kind of mentioning that he's been flashing as well. I haven't heard anything from Kingsley Enagbare. Have you guys?
Not much, no. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I was watching the McDuffie tape earlier, I watched something like, 60 or 70 plays a couple times. And he was really flashing on the screen. Like there was a couple times where you just seen him mauling guys in the run game, not necessarily the ball carrier, but just, I'm talking about creating havoc against the run. Now you look at the PFF grade here, obviously his run defense 66.6, not like over the moon, but it was definitely what he did the best last year, which maybe, Jacob, that's why we're a little more down on him than the Packers coaching staff is because we, our raw eye probably didn't catch that as often until you really get in and watch the box cam a little bit more. But he had 538 snaps last year. They love that dude. I want to see what I would like to see here. If you look at Brenton Cox Jr., right, he only had 187 snaps. I want to see him and Enagbare flip. That's me personally. I want to see what we truly have in Brenton Cox Jr. And it's crazy too because his pass rush grade is only a 66.4. However, he led the team in pressure percentage. Gary was right behind him in pressure percentage. He had far more pressures than Brenton Cox Jr., but the pressure rate was slightly higher for Brenton Cox Jr., and both of them hovering around a 66 pass rush grade, which cracks me up. It does. I ain't gonna lie. So I would like to see those two numbers flip personally. Deslin Alexander, when Tim's shown the tape or the footage from camp practice, it does look like he's kind of flashing a little bit, right? In some of the drills that you see, like, hey, who is that dude right there? So I don't know. How do you feel about it, Amelia? And Aaron Mosby's the one that, to me, is starting to feel like I don't see him making this roster this year because he got some significant play time last year. 150 reps. You're talking about Aaron Mosby getting almost as many snaps as Brenton Cox Jr. Me don't like you that, Jan. Me don't like you that at all.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. I was looking. Do you have the how many did we go in with Edge? 6, right? On the roster, I think.
I'll pull it up. Keep talking.
Because I think, like you've been saying, Aaron Mosby is on the bubble. I like Alexander. I think he's going to be more of a practice squad kind of guy. Maybe you bring Aaron Mosby and Alexander back. I think it's got to be Rashawn Brenton, Kingsley, Elvian, Oliver, and Sorrell. I'm excited to see what Sorrell can do out there.
Oh, yeah.
I really am. I think that's going to be one key to this game. I want to see him get upfield. I want to see him just, get his – I remember watching his tape. His hands are really good. He has really good hands. He's able to extend. He's able to get separation. So I want to kind of see that get to work. But they're going to get reps to all these guys. I would think that Sorrell has a good shot, and that's the toss-up between Alexander and Mosby.
That number was 6, Amelia. We broke camp with 6. And shout out to Clint for the super chat here. Says PTA is number 1. Thank you so much, Clint. We appreciate you, man, being generous in here. And Johnny Storm said, yo, what's up from Australia? This is my first time watching the NFL, so I'm looking for a team to be a fan of. Buddy, you are in the right place. Let me tell you. Give the Packers a shot. And I want to challenge you to do something tonight. Go to YouTube tonight and just type in Packers Legacy, all right? And it's going to take you to the Packers YouTube channel, all right? And there's going to be a series of like 6 or 7 episodes, I believe it is. Start with the very first one, okay? Watch that very first episode, and you're going to hear about the historical aspect of the Packers and just how they were formed, the only publicly owned franchise in all of sports, not just the NFL. So it's kind of owned by the fans type deal. And then try to find a documentary on Lambeau Field and learn about the weather in Green Bay and how often you get the snow games we play outside while everybody else's pansy asses are building domes and everything. We're still playing big boy football up there. So appreciate you jumping in here from Australia, man. We really appreciate it. And again, Clint, thank you for that super chat. That's right. All right. Anything else on that, Jacob? And I echo what Emilio just said, man. Baron Sorrell, give me 20 snaps tomorrow at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So who would your 6 be if you had to pick right now? So, obviously Gary Cox, Vanessa, Sorrell. You'd have to probably say Kingsley.
2 are Mosby and Alexander would be me.
Yeah. Because it's going to come down to Colin Oliver whether or not he's healthy for week 1, right? I think there's a chance he goes on PUP, and we always talk about this, that it kind of shapes that initial roster. So I would go Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Brenton Cox Jr., Kingsley Enagbare, right? if you'll drop that down for me. He says Kingsley's out. Chris M. Wow. Okay. Kingsley and Igbore. Drop that comment. There you go. Barron Sorrell would be 5. So if Colin Oliver's healthy, obviously he would be 6. After that, I honestly think Aaron Mosby would get the nod over Alexander. I could be wrong. I think they probably feel like they could put Alexander on the practice squad and keep them both. And really that's what it comes down to, guys, is we're talking about a 53-man roster. And it's really, it comes down to what would it be, a 69-man roster is really what it is. So,
And then 70 with the international, right? So we got the one extra.
And I think that's going to go to the kicker most likely, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is do we remember the age limit on the practice squad? Because Deslin was 27.1. I want to say it's 28. Or no, you have the veterans now after they updated it, right? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say there's 10 regular practice squad spots. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I may have this completely screwed up. I think there's 10 regular practice squad spots, and then you can have 6 veterans. I think that's the way I understood it. It might be flipped though.
I can't remember that. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. So that's what it really comes down to is you're trying to keep as many of these guys as you possibly can. And in some cases, you may look up and go, he's the better player, and he'll probably be active more. But the initial 53, we want to keep them both. Probably want to have this guy on the roster just to make sure we keep them both. So I can see that for sure. But all right, next position, Jacob. I'm loving this conversation, man. This is fun.
So what do you think about the last safety position being a battle between Zane, Keaton, and Omar Brown? I know Clayton's a little less excited about Omar Brown. You guys know how much we all loved Keaton Oladapo. Haven't gotten to see as much from him as I would have liked to, obviously. And then Mr. Zane Anderson, kind of like Emmanuel Wilson, didn't get a lot of playing time, but when he did, boy, did he make the most of it, grading out again in the 80s. What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, for me, it comes down to whether you want to count Javon Bullard as a safety or not. You guys know how I feel. I think he's a corner, and the reason he's not listed with the safeties here is because he played the majority of his snaps as the slot corner last year, if I'm understanding correctly. Now, with that being said, we broke camp with 5 last year, but one of those 5s was Javon Bullard, right? So in the Packers, I'm pretty sure on their website, they still have him listed as a safety. So it really comes back to the cornerback room. Here's what it comes down to, not to convolute it too much, but if we add cornerbacks to this list, you're keeping 10 guys off this list right here. That's what it comes down to, okay? Whether you count, Javon as a safety or not. So in the safety room, I would keep the 5 that we had listed here, right? I would keep all 5 of these if I could, and I would count Javon Bullard as a corner. So if I drop the safeties off this list, and we broke camp last year with Javon Bullard as a safety, we broke camp with 5 more cornerbacks, okay? So with that being said, who would be the 5 cornerbacks? It'd be Carrington, Keyshawn, Nate Hobbs, Javon Bullard, and you got one more. It's going to be Corey Ballantyne, Kamal Haddon, Kalen King, Bo Melton. I'm pressing in the bowl right now. So I think it might go that route. And then you keep Omar Brown. Now you got to ask yourself that whole 69-man roster, 70-man roster, whatever you want to call it, question. Can you potentially get Omar Brown on the practice squad? He was available, last year. We signed him off the scrap heap. He was a 6th-round pick. No, he wasn't. That was Kamal Haddon. But he was on the scrap heap. We signed him. Obviously, no one else had him on their practice squad. So it feels to me like you could get Omar Brown on the practice squad and then maybe carry 2 of those corners, one of which would be, 6 corners, 2 extra, with one of those being Javon Bullard. If that's the case, maybe like a Kalen King or if a Micah Robinson or somebody flashes. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
You go ahead, Emilio.
I think that's a good breakdown. I think that, like X was saying in his interview, we have a safety room that can do a lot of different stuff. He was talking about Bull, being able to play in the nickel, potentially dime, going up and playing free, playing box, all that. So I think that they're super happy with that. I really think the battle is in that corner room. But Bull's making it no matter what, right? X is making it. Evan's going to make it. Keaton, I really do think he's getting better. We just need to get more reps to him.
Emilio, isn't it crazy that I forget that he graded out as almost a 73
right
in that rookie year? Granted, I mean, he's got almost just under 70 snaps, but that's still impressive, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's not like 20 snaps. You know what I mean?
Right. And the preseason is going to tell you a lot this year. I mean, he's going to get some actual game reps early in the game rather than 4th quarter, whatever. But being able to do well in those 70 snaps, and that's checking the box. So Zane, I think we have to keep him around for special teams. He just knows it. He's the ace back there. We need to make sure he's protecting Wheelan. And Omar Brown keeps showing up. You have a spot on the team if you can play specials and you're able to rotate in potentially. If there's an injury, you got to be ready to go and know the defense, know what they're asking you.
Yeah. I think that, like Coach Lynn says, as you were just basically highlighting, Amelia, he said Zane is the personal protector on the punt team, so maybe he makes it just because of that alone. And just also, you know that you got a pretty high ceiling in that depth room there. But it is, I tell you what, I am probably most excited if I had to pick one single player to watch how they perform. I think it might be Katan Oladapo, like you said, just for the fact that we haven't seen a ton, and we finally will probably, hopefully, get to see him with a little higher level of competition and for longer and more snaps.
Such a banger, man! I wish we could play it longer.
I know. AFAM in the chat says Zane is.
Get ready to go.
There you go. All right. You heard it here. You heard it from a fan right here.
Yeah.
Next position, gang. What are we thinking here, Jacob? What you got?
So, what do you guys think about Jacob Monk? Is there any chance that you see him not making this team? And specifically the battle that I was looking at, because it's obviously different positions, but that second/third string center, I'm starting to get a little nervous about. I think that do you think we'd all agree that probably Sean Ryan has the backup center position? But
that's how I feel, Jacob. I agree with you there, man.
What happens if, God forbid, something happens to two centers and we have to throw Monk out there? Do you think they feel comfortable with Monk, that his spot on this team is solidified as that kind of interior backup piece? And then you throw in the hitch of Morgan and Belton both not really finding a for sure starting spot. Does that, we're not going to lose those guys, that's for sure. But do you see any other resurgence of a different player that maybe we're not thinking of pushing a guy like Monk off of this team?
It's a great question. I haven't even thought about it. I just kind of felt like he was a slam dunk to make the roster, but you make great points, man. It's not unless it's something, Jacob, that we're overlooking where the team's like, oh, we feel great about Monk at backup center. We're just trying to try a bunch of other guys just to make sure, But to me, I see what you're saying, man, because if Sean Ryan truly is the backup and that's not just this, hey, let's try him out and continue to rotate him through, it did seem like last year, I think it was in the playoff game, right, when Josh Myers went down, they actually kicked Sean Ryan to center. Am I thinking right, Amelia? Wasn't that how that went? Am I thinking right?
I believe so.
Jeez.
Let's see if it shows it here. Sometimes it'll show, it's just saying O-line, so it doesn't.
So, Emilio, Dennis Shook's taking a little pot shot on you here.
Yeah.
So I can see Glover having a big year.
He will. He will. He's going to be having a big year in rehab. Don't worry. He'll be coming back.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Yeah. Well, Chris the Casual End says, Monk has showed what exactly? And, we never want to be too harsh on players here, but we always say, if you see something, say something. I haven't seen as many flashes as I would have hoped from Mr. Jacob Monk at this point.
Hey, he's on special teams, baby. 43 snaps on field goals and extra points. I don't mean to laugh, but it's a valid point. And the way people talked about him last year going into camp was like, man, the Packers really like this guy, right?
What about JJ?
Wasn't he like a 4-year captain or something? Am I thinking right?
At Duke, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I don't know, man. And Coach Lynn says, I have not seen anything from Monk yet in training camp. I will say this, listening to Wildy and Tausch, and when Wildy has been over at camp, at least earlier during the OTAs, he pointed out, you see the offensive line together and you see Monk, you go, man, one of these guys don't look like they're big enough to belong. He just kind of looks like a smaller cat. So
Joseph right here, that's his comment.
Yeah, perfect, Joseph. Thank you. That's exactly what Wildy said. So I don't know, man. That's a great question. So do you think?
I think by the time we get to third center, I think Zach Tom's coming to center, and we're putting Belton and Morgan out there, and we're spreading out the first round.
But again, that to me would make more sense than that they would be okay with letting Monk. If they had to, if they really like Telfort, or even somebody that we're not thinking like Banks or something like that.
Right.
Not Aaron Banks. We got to keep 10 out of tackles, guards, and center.
Last year we broke camp.
Offensive line
with 10. We had 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we kept 10, let's count them off here. Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Aaron Banks, Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan. I about said Travis Glover. I apologize.
That's okay.
That's 7, right? That's all I'm Anthony Belton would be 8, right?
So there's 2 spots probably.
I think Donovan Jennings still has a shot, right?
that's a guy they've been really trying to force into that center row. Now, don't get me wrong, he's snapping the ball like I would. He's airmailing that thing, right?
Yeah.
So you got 2 spots left. It kind of feels like Jacob Monk will be a slam dunk for one of those spots now that Travis Glover's down.
Unless they're looking for a tackle.
What about Tyler Cooper, maybe?
I was thinking Tyler Cooper maybe could show something. Obviously, Williams isn't going to be much here, but I have you heard anything about Brant Banks?
No.
I haven't heard anything. So I
only remember what it was. Banks lined up next to each other one time. It was like the bank side of the line or whatever, where they had Aaron and then Brant right next to each other, something like that. But that's my only thing. If Brant's a tackle and they're looking for that, I mean, Kadeem Telford can play tackle too, but he's probably going to be making. I mean, that's tough. Or you say, hey, I'm going in with 9 and you need another spot somewhere else. You slide a couple of these guys to the practice squad and you bring them back up once you get that taken care of.
See, that's what I thought was more of a realistic thing. Like if we did need to get another cornerback, obviously we know how many wide receivers everybody wishes we could keep. If the tight ends, if we only break with 2, you know what I'm saying? There is some puzzle pieces that we could move around. And I would argue that probably the back end of that offensive line room, I don't know if there's anybody that wouldn't make the practice squad. You know what I mean? That would get snatched by. I don't think anybody's looking after Monk or JJ Lippe or Cooper, maybe Cooper, but
yeah. The one thing that kind of grabs my attention with Jacob Monk, I was just sitting there thinking, do you try to kick him over the practice squad and play at a numbers game? Carry 9, like you guys said, stash 3 of these guys on the practice squad, and you can just activate, as you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you need them. But him being a 5th round pick,
yeah.
When I look at that stuff, guys, you may look at it and go, oh, well, it doesn't necessarily mean somebody will sign him. If the Packers took him in the 5th round, it probably means, well, first of all, they had at least a 5th round grade on him, maybe even higher, which means other teams may have had a 5th round grade on him, and they may find themselves. I mean, we see the injuries across the league right now in preseason. It's absolutely insane how many guys are getting hurt. So what these GMs do, as soon as their roster gets thinned out a little bit with injuries, if you're one of those guys that gets bitten by the injury bug, or one of those teams rather, you immediately go back to your draft board and you're like, okay, who were we high on this draft? All right. Are any of those guys available? Oh, look, here's Monk. We had a 5th round grade on him and he's on a practice squad. They'll swoop in and take him. Right. So that's why, once you get outside like the 4th round, you think, okay, is it really a big deal to keep him? It is. And I think it's important to understand too, that he's going through his 2nd full off season. Mm-hmm. So he probably understands the scheme at least more than someone you bring in off the street. That makes sense. So,
yeah. And I mean, 6'3", 230, I mean, 320. He's not a tiny guy. I mean,
even if he's 6'2", I mean, that's not horrible, right?
And I think what Wildy was saying was like, we made a shift this year. Many people didn't catch this, but the Packers made a shift and they went for bigger offensive linemen. You could tell that they're pressing into what Philly does, trying to play that bully ball, right? And I think that's why it's like, think about it. You line those guys up. Let's do it this way. Let's say he is 6'2", because we know how PFF sometimes, exaggerates and stuff. Rasheed Walker, the left tackle, right? 6'6". Okay. Left guard, Aaron Banks, 6'5". I think they actually had him listed at 6'6" on some sides. Elton Jenkins, your center, 6'5", right? And then right guard, where are you at? Let's say it's Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan's 6'5". Zach Tom is another smaller guy. I say he's 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So see how he is truly 6'2". You look at that and go, holy cow! Like that guy's kind of small. So
right.
But anyway, there you go. There's your offensive line. All right, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We'll wrap up this conversation if we have time, or we can continue on with it. If we have time, we'll get into some Isaiah McDuffie chalk talk. But we'll see y'all on the other side. We appreciate you.